One of the greatest risks we face today as a country and as a global community is climate and ecological emergency. It's also one of the greatest risks to economic growth. We need to align UK law with what science tells us required for a livable future by passing the cross-party backed Climate and Ecology Bill. That is why I laid down Amendment E, which would deliver a science-led, joined-up strategy to build a greener, fairer future for all and prioritise the protection of nature moving forwards. The housing sector is on track to use almost 50% of the Climate Change Committee's recommended carbon budget. This trajectory is unsustainable to uphold our commitments under the Paris Agreement and play our part in limiting global warming to 1.5 degrees. We need homes fit for the future. The government has now prioritised stepping up the pace of retrofitting, driving progress towards decarbonisation, while providing much needed assistance to our constituents during the cost of living crisis. In terms of planning, England will soon, we're told, have new biodiversity policies via biodiversity net gain. This policy effectively mandates that any new development leaves biodiversity in a better state than before it was constructed. Oxford's Nature Positive Hub has exposed serious challenges that threaten the integrity of the policy's outcomes, including oversight, monitoring and enforcement of biodiversity improvements. Under the policy, developers have 3 ways to offset their biodiversity liability, damage their project does to nature, but the process will be overseen by local planning departments, which are often lacking in capacity and expertise. We must prioritise the protection of nature. The Leaders' Pledge to Nature was a welcome international commitment to not only halt nature loss by 2030, but also set it firmly in reverse. This is an ambition set at the COP15 last December, which I attended, which the government all signed up to. It's the apex nature time of the Climate Ecology Bill, which I'm proud to draw attention to via Amendment E. I also want to discuss Gaza, which the King himself referenced in his gracious speech. I, like many others, was at our Remembrance Sunday event in a local church, and I was privileged to read Micah 4, which says, "He will judge between many peoples and will settle disputes of strong nations far and wide. They will beat their swords into ploughshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore. Everyone will sit under their own vine, under their own fig tree." Reverend Matt Broughton of St Giles then gave the eulogy, and he drew attention to the fact that the same land that is being fought over now was being fought over 3,000 years ago. And Micah was under threat of attack and assault, but he could see the need for peace and a peaceful settlement, and the need to turn their swords into ploughshares. He drew attention to the fact that the only settlement would be through negotiation and through means, as we ourselves saw in Northern Ireland, the Spanish saw in the Basque Country. And although now is a time, as he said, of uncertainty, disharmony and fear, we need to look to the future and think about how we can recreate the 2 states for 2 peoples. And it is incumbent on us as the UK government, as the UK Parliament and the government, to join international efforts that are happening. The Spanish government, Pedro Sanchez, the Prime Minister, has proposed a peace conference after the conclusion of the conflict. And it's important that we create an intergenerational peace for the people of Israel and the people of Palestine. This is not something which is a goal that should be seen as too lofty or too difficult. This is the only way we are going to move beyond the current conflict, beyond the discussions that we're having about station facilities or ceasefires. It's the only way that we're going to bring peace to both peoples. And people say there are not the partners for peace on both sides, but the international community must make it their top priority to find those individuals that exist in both Israel and Palestine and promote them and support them for us to reach that goal. Thank you.